Joining me today is Lorraine Merrill, who's the New Hampshire Commissioner of Agriculture, Markets, and Food. Did I get that right? That's a funny name.
Did.
I'll just call it the Commissioner of the Department of Agriculture.
That's fine.
A short version. I hope that's all right. Is that what everybody does?
Yes, actually, yes.
I want to start really with saying markets and food. I get the agriculture component, but it seems like your department does a lot more.
Our department does a lot. You're right, John. I often tell people that we're a very small department of state government that touches every single household in the state, whether people realize it or not.
Okay, I didn't realize that. So tell me more. How?
Well, in so many ways, we are responsible for supporting agriculture in all its branches, is what the legislature wrote many years ago. And we also have a lot of regulatory responsibilities for food markets, things like pesticides. We are the regulatory authority for pesticides in the state of New Hampshire. And we have many of the environmental land conservation programs. We support our animal and plant aspects of agriculture, both of which are so important to the working landscape that I think people in New Hampshire really treasure, as well as our visitors and tourists. There's a lot of, we have weights and measures regulations. So
when I get a gallon of gas, I get a gallon of gas because of you?
Or a pound of ham at the deli, the accuracy of those measures is overseen by our department.
So I mean, it's quite a number of different things.
Exactly.
And you said animals, and does that include, pest control and invasive species?
Yes.
On one end of the spectrum?
Yes.
But also dogs and cats and population control? Or?
Yes, we have the animal population control program, the spay-neuter program, and our Division of Animal Industry is responsible for animal health, disease control in livestock food animals, but also regulates the pet shops and shelters and so forth. So
it's you're all over the place.
We are. Like I say, we touch every household with it.
I don't know where to begin. But let's sort of start with some of the least obvious sort of things, and get to agriculture a little bit later. But what are the issues around farm animals, pets? Pet stores, spading and neutering. Is that really? I mean, I think of us as a rural state. Is that something we should pay attention to? Is that an issue?
Well, the spay and neuter program was started years ago because there were problems with too many kittens and puppies being not being wanted and taken care of, and so forth. We've done such a great job, honestly, with that in this state. People are much more responsible now that we've actually become certainly a dog deficit state, and so you'll see that we have all these dogs being brought in from other states to meet the demand. So, it's, that's, and the issues around those aspects, it's often animal health, which we're responsible for animal health that affects, the public health or the economy of the state, which for agriculture, there are diseases that can be in whether it's cattle or pigs, that would have a great economic impact if we had those diseases in the state. It's not whether an animal needs to have a veterinarian because they're,
right.
They've got some particular.
So what are the diseases? I mean, okay, I'm a little naive here, I'll admit that. Mad cow disease jumps, in the foreground, but I suspect that's really not, that gets all the hype, but not really an issue.
A threat here. But tuberculosis, for example, is a disease that you can have in food-producing animals that is also communicable to humans.
Really?
So it would be both a public health and economic concern if we had tuberculosis in our dairy cattle or even in our farmed deer, for example. So those kinds of testing programs and restrictions on interstate movement of animals, that helps to make sure that we protect our herds and flocks.
And is tuberculosis in animals widespread in the United States?
No, it isn't. It is not, because we've had really strict controls. It was brought under control decades ago and is maintained by the testing and regulations that we have on animal movement.
And
but there have been incidents in certain states, not here, so that's when these rules really come into play to make sure it doesn't spread.
And somebody's going to say, do I get it from eating meat? That's not how it would be communicated.
No, it could be communicated through contact between, and also unpasteurized milk would be. That's one reason why pasteurization was broadly instituted back in the 1930s and 40s and so forth. So it's one of the many things that it protects against.
Well, we're out of time in this segment.